only get one life to live, we only got one life to live. Yeah, I feel this shit in my spirit, whatever I got, I'ma give. Yeah, I had to look in the mirror, so that's what I got up and did. Yeah, now that I see what it is, I finally feel I can get out and live.
We're live. This is episode 11, the end of season 1. And I would just have to say how grateful I am for each and every person that has tuned into the episodes that I've had throughout the seasons, has even just reposted, liked, shared, commented. I really, really do appreciate it. And so on this episode, I really just wanted to use it as an opportunity to just reflect on this past season, things that I also, want to work on and give you all next season. And I'm pretty excited about it, as well as just diving a little bit into a topic that I didn't get to really get into earlier this year or earlier in the season. So I wanted to get into that as well, and that topic is depression. So I do think it's important that we recognize that, in the month of May is Mental Health Month. But for me, it's more than just the month. This is something that we're always advocating for throughout the year. This is something that we're trying to make sure our community is aware of and has the proper resources, to help them just navigate in that, sometimes dark space. And so I would like to talk about my experience, also share some experiences of others who have, spoke with me on the streets of Chicago. I went out one day with my homie Leon, shout out Leon, and we just captured some, questions. Really just wanted to know, what is depression to them? Have they had anyone in their family or just friends or even themselves experience depression? And what are the signs of depression like kicking in? And, what are ways to possibly get out of it? And you'll hear, different things. So I like to share my experiences, but I definitely want you all to know that my experience or how I go about something, may not help you. It could help somebody, but it may not help you. So that's why I like to also capture the experiences and also just the opinions of others that are out there and kind of how they navigated the situation. So, yeah. So I'm excited for you all to tune into this episode. And just to give you all a little bit for those who are just listening through the audio, for those on video, you can see that I'm out in the sun. It's the last day of May. We're kicking into June, and I'm in Rogers Park. I promise I'm safe over here. But yeah, I'm right here in Rogers Park on the border of Evanston, and I chose this space first and foremost because I moved from my apartment in Rogers Park, so I'm no longer staying in Rogers Park. So my whole, studio that I had set up in the living room is gone. And so I was like, okay, we're talking about something that can be kind of dark. So to some people, I'm a Scorpio though. So I feel like I just lived through it and I learn a lot more in that space, but that's neither here nor there. But I chose this space just because whenever I would need some type of clarity, or I would just be feeling very, down, I feel for me what I would do. This is not the exact beach, but I would just go out to the beach, if over there by Pratt and Sheridan at Loyola Park or beach. I go over there and just go with Keita, and even if I'm not with Keita, just go out there, walk, and just sit. And I promise you, after those walks, I just felt a lot just better, even if I just felt, extremely sad about something or angry. I think that nature is so interesting when you just go out into nature, and it may bring you to this level of just gratefulness for everything that's around you when you just see all the living things and whatnot. But we're in not Loyola Park, but Rogers Park, and I don't know. I really feel like this is the place for it to be. We have some things lined up in the summer for the Pure Potential family. Again, if you're not a part of the Discord, please join the Discord. Again, I told you we're building a community. We're challenging ourselves. We're stepping into June tomorrow. I hope that I can get everyone in there to tell me some challenges that they would like to have for themselves. And but by the time you hear this, we'll be a little bit into June. But as well as just recognizing that it's Mental Health Month, this summer I want to focus on just movement with the community, as well as things that we can do as a community to help uplift and build one another up. And also, yeah, so those are pretty things, like the announcements that I just wanted to make, as well as just letting you know that I'm not completely gone, even though I'm taking a step back this at the end of the season, just for due to what I said earlier, just needing to reassess things and just rest. But you know me, I'm always still trying to make sure that we're working towards that next season to give you something great. So yeah, you can still expect to see some clips that are going to be posted. Again, we'll be active in the Pure Potential Discord, and also having events here in Chicago. The first one will most likely be in July. That will be more like a movement fitness type of thing that I most likely will lead with another one of my good friends. So look out for that. So we're going to kick off into this last episode of Pure Potential, the podcast. Again, my name is Deji, your host, and I'm excited for you all to tune into this last one. To be honest with you, I did not want to actually end this season originally, but a lot of things have happened within like the last 2-3 months. So, I got a new job, still in the nonprofit sector. And so that was just, something that's new, and I started that about a month ago. So it's just been a lot of just change with that. And then as well as just moving, I'm like, you see that I'm not in the studio in the living room in Rogers Park anymore. So that is no longer there. So now I'm just trying to figure out, what does the next setup look like? What does the next season look like? So that's why I kind of was like, I need to take a step back and also just rest. That's like the biggest thing for me. Like, I love to do this, but I felt when I was like, man, like this is starting to get a lot. I was just like, okay, let me take a step back and, use this time to rest. I promise I'm still going to give y'all stuff for sure. But I think it was just a time to rest, but also reflect. And, I could keep going through this, but there's things that I'm like, you know what? Am I giving them my best? Can I give them more? And things like that. And I want you all to get the best, so that was, really a few reasons why I was like, let me take some steps back and, just reassess everything. Also just looking at the analytics so we can grow. There's some people that just may not be reaching. So there's things in the works. Shout out to my friends and family for just being constant support, my girlfriend, and just honestly just letting me know that, like, it's okay that I'm taking a step back. And so that's where the grace part comes in. And honestly, one of the things I'll tell you all recently, I'm actually really glad I can kind of bend my knee. But shout out my homie Femi, Dry Clean Only podcast. About 3 weeks ago, he started inviting me out, like probably a month ago. He started inviting me out to come play flag football in Lincoln Park. And so I was just like, man, like I've missed this so much, just football. Because that was something that, I feel like my identity was really, like, I felt that was literally my whole life. But it felt good to go back to that and just play football. And so we were in the playoff game. We just won the game to get us into the playoffs. And then it was like a back-to-back game. The second game, it was the first game. So my teammate, we're going for the quarterback. And so, like, we're trying to get the flag, right? Mind you, my homie, I feel like he was like, he really had like, I don't know if he blacked out, but I'm like, were you trying to tackle the quarterback? Because I'm on the other side of the quarterback. So it's like the quarterback is in front of me and then he's coming from the other direction. But all I see is him like diving. Like it looks like he's going for a tackle, shoulders squared, everything. And this quarterback was very shifty. So it's like, he's like, and like next thing I know, I see it because I thought he was going to throw it. So I jump. And then the next thing I know is I'm coming down. I see my teammate like the quarterback is no longer there, and it's just him about to literally run into me, and I just know that as soon as I hit the ground, my knee was already like kind of like buckled, like it was like kind of like, you know, it was buckled basically, and I couldn't really move because I just landed on the ground, and his shoulders like and head kind of in a way had went straight into like my quad, so I suffered I think it's called a quad contusion. We can fact check that later. But I basically diagnosed myself. I still might need to go to urgent care, but I've always believed in like healing myself. So basically, that was about 3 weeks ago, and it was healing. And then I'm walking Kita, if you know, my dog, and we're going down the stairs of the apartment, and she like sees my homie Jalen. Shout out Jalen. And she literally gets so excited, she just drags me down the stairs, and then my knee like bends more than it's able to. So, you know, it can barely go into a 90-degree right now. But during that time, it was probably only, it can go up to like, probably like a 45-degree angle. Like, it couldn't even go bend past that. So it basically like inflamed again, and it got back to like square one. So that was like last week, the day of the Cubs game, last Wednesday, I think. So we're healing though. Basically, all I'm trying to say is like I've been frustrated because you know me, I love moving my body, and I have so many just goals I want. Like my number one goal is to get faster. Like I'm not an athlete no more, but I still have like certain goals. I'm just like, I just want to sprints, like do sprints more, like get faster. I don't know what for, but I just want to. So maybe when I'm on the basketball court again, balling all my homies up, you know, even if they put their money up, I can just make money. So maybe that's it. But I've been like a little bit frustrated. But again, that's where grace comes in. I can kind of say I've been very depressed. But, you know, I think what has stopped me from going completely into it is the fact that I'm still moving my body in different ways, you know. So last summer, I feel like I experienced a depression. I wouldn't say severely, but like I experienced it for sure. That was the first time I actually had to look and be like, yo, like, are you good? And so that was actually while I had a girlfriend too. So it's different. And you're probably wondering why I'm, you know, just talking about depression in the middle of the summer, or not summer yet, but you get it. The weather's getting better. Usually it's just seasonal depression. We all know that's a thing. But I also feel like with my experience, I don't know if anyone else has experienced it, but I mean, the sunshine makes me feel good. But at the same time, I've had, like I said last summer, a partial moment where I was like in a dark place, but it wasn't really too dark, like it wasn't severe. And so I was like, okay, like let me talk about this just in case anyone goes through this summer, or, you know, just needs to hear this. So, you know, I feel like that's something that anybody can go through at any time of the year, wherever you are. And so I would just like to share a little bit about my experience, and also share with you all, like I said, some of the experiences of people that were on the streets and kind of told us about their experience. Some of the questions that I asked people on the streets of Chicago, I asked some people just, you know, I said, when you think of depression, what does that mean to you? I said, what are the signs that make you believe you are in depression or entering depression? How do you get through depression? Have you ever seek medical assistance? How does depression make you feel? And how do you interact with your environment when in depression? So could you let us know your name?
My name Michael.
Oh, your name Michael?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my name too. So that's awesome. So I'm here with Michael. And Michael, I wanted to know, what do you know about depression? What is depression?
Man, depression is rough, man. You know, seems like the world is walls falling down around you, you know, make it hard to survive, you know. Yeah, depression is rough.
Facts. And what is it that you recognize if you're going into depressional state or are in a depressional state in your own life?
Well, you know, things begin to change. You know, it ain't the same no more. You know, things you used to do, you can't do them no more, you know. And people changes, you know. So, yeah.
And then, is there anything that you do specifically to possibly get you out of the state of depression?
Well, by me being handicapped, I can't work, but I try to do a little volunteer work here and there, help people, or just give a kind advice or something. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Have you ever or known anyone to get some medical or I would say mental assistance in the area of like mental health?
No, I have not personally. I don't know.
Okay, I appreciate you, Michael. Have a good one. What is it that you know depression has, or what is depression to you?
It is somewhat replaying moments in your mind that you can't get out of, always stuck in your head. Always stuck in your head. Today, you guys randomly stopped me, and it's the day of my brother's death, technically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's been gone about since 2007.
Wow, rest in peace.
So it's coincidental.
Yeah,
Everything happens for a reason, that's for sure.
yeah.
Everything.
And I wanted to know, what is the signs that you recognize in your own life that you kind of see the signs, or it's letting you know that it's depression?
Laziness. You don't want to get up. You don't want to do nothing. You can fight with yourself. You can argue with yourself. You cry in yourself in your room sometimes.
No, really.
You know what I mean? You think there's no way out. You want to hope for there's a way out, but you're just human.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it. You're just human. You gotta keep going somehow.
And what are some ways that you kind of help yourself to get out of this state?
So I'm still in it. I'm still in it. I don't think I'm ever gonna get out of it.
Wow.
I'm trauma bound. Yeah, trauma's always gonna be with me. I'm okay with that. Made peace with it, sort of.
And what is some things that you feel like you can do that possibly to, make the days better, or, is there like any medical or, mental health you feel like can be?
Everybody has their own way of coping. Whether it's self-medicating, going to church, finding something to do. It's all about whatever you strive for, you know what I mean? That's about it.
I appreciate Jay, and I want to know, Jay, what is it that you, when you think about, or when depression comes to your mind, what is it that means to you?
It's like a lot of trauma, a lot of heartbreak, like just like a whole bunch of negative vibes, and I'm recently a person that went through depression. I got scars from it, like literally.
Wow.
Yeah, so it really ate me up where I had to like really back away from school and a lot of more things. So depression is like, it kills, bro.
Yeah. No, thank you for sharing that. And what would you say is some signs or things that you recognize when depression came about? Was it something that you seen, or did it just kind of just happen and you've seen it afterwards? Could you tell me a little bit about that?
It basically was like afterwards, it was just like it went right into it, like boom. I started feeling like these symptoms, like damn, sad, like I'm ready to cry, break down, and everything. And it was like I didn't know what to do, so I didn't really have nobody sit down like, man, this is what this is, like, man, So I never really had that. So it'd be people like, man, I'm going through depression. Oh, you're not going through depression, bro. And try to like, So that's really what I got for it.
Facts. And you just speaking about like you're overcoming that, that situation. What was it that you did, or things that you did do in order to get you out of that state? I guess you could say.
Just stay focused and grind. Just follow your purpose. Whatever you need to be doing, just do that, and don't focus on like the bad moment. Like, don't sit in that moment. Like, go forward. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I guess depression is maybe trying to, I guess when you isolate yourself maybe and you're non-social, maybe you just kind of, it's kind of hard to adjust to social life, I guess, man. Depending on what group you belong in, I guess that's the way it is. I feel that way sometimes,
Yeah. And what? Yeah, no. And what would you say is some things that you recognize as depression in your own life, or
being accepted sometimes has a lot to do with it. Like even in a work environment, for me, like some people think like they're entitled to those places and they make you feel uncomfortable, so you also get kind of isolate yourself. You feel like you're not worth. Sometimes, you feel that way because of other people make you feel that way, I guess.
And what would you say is some things that you do to help yourself get out of that state?
Fuck, prove them wrong, do right. You know what I mean? Try to make yourself feel like you do belong there. You are just like everybody else if you apply yourself to it.
Yeah. And do you know anyone that, or you yourself, have ever gotten medical or mental health?
No, but I knew my daughter was struggling with it a little bit because of the same thing. Trying to keep up with, social media people. Not accepting you because you gotta feel like you gotta be some sort of way. I guess.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Alfredo. Have a good one.
You
I would say for me, when I think about depression, what does that mean to me? I think it's a time where you enter into a state of mind, and also like it's a state of mind. I feel like where it's really starts with the thoughts. I really feel like it's, essentially dark thoughts and are things that may not necessarily be true. It can be things that may have not have happened. It could be things that have happened, and it could stem from actual events or whatever. But I feel like it definitely is a state of mind, and also an emotion that you carry for too long. For example, I would say that you know you can be angry, but then if you angry for too long, can it lead to depression? If you're sad for too long, could it lead to depression? If you pay attention to someone passes away, can that lead to depression? I think one of the people that we spoke with actually speaks about his experience with, depression and how he feels like he's still in it. Like he doesn't feel like it ever ends. So it's, I think it's just a state of mind, also emotion that you can carry for too long. And so, I feel that it's something that it can get deep. What are the signs that make you believe you're in depression or entering depression? For me, there's a few things, and I wrote down basically, and I'm isolating myself from people. I'm very much the one to stay connected with everybody. And so, when I lived by myself, it was so much easier to just do that and just not having to just interact with other people. And so, like when you, for example, me having a girlfriend for the first time and probably going through it, I feel like I've gone through depressions, and I have my times that I can recall, maybe in college and whatnot, and a little minor other times. But I would say, this last one could have just stemmed from, I don't know what the last one stemmed from. I feel like it stems from something too, but the signs of it is just me not having lack of empathy, not being able to really share, I think being aware of someone else's feelings, and that's not me at all. So that's some of the things that I just feel like I'm able to help me see if I'm going into that state, or if I'm having a lack of interest from some of the things that I normally love to do. And so another one too is if I'm eating whatever that's not like me at all. So I feel like whatever is not like me, which is eating whatever, moving my body. If I'm not moving my body, if I'm eating whatever, if I feel like I'm not having a lack of empathy, it can pretty much coming off being mean in a way, right? It's that's not me. So that's kind of how I usually can tell, and so that's usually when I can tell, kind of when I'm going through that. And then the third question is, what do you do to get through depression? So for me, I feel like there's a few things that I do. Like I said, whatever I feel is normally like me or is my lifestyle that I normally do is movement. I need to move my body. If it's yoga, if it's running, if it's, if it's working out, whatever the case is, I need to move my body. And so, for example, my knee can actually kind of bend almost at that 90-degree angle now. But just last week, it couldn't even go to 45 degree angles. It was kind of crazy. But I feel like I could have gone into that state of depression if I wasn't moving my body. Because right now I've been stretching, I've been doing yoga, I haven't been running, because I want to help heal it. So I've been doing just the right amount of stuff. So I feel for me that's been very, very helpful in helping me, stay, not go into that state of mind. So, that's some of the things that help me. Eating clean, that helps me. I really feel like my gut and mind is really connected. And so if I feel like I'm just eating whatever, junk, processed foods and all that stuff, everyone's different. But my body, it don't like that stuff. In terms of performance, me being at my best in terms of mood, I need to eat things that are clean. That's why it's so important to me, because I want to be able to be in a good mood around people. So that helps a lot too. And obviously moving your body, exercising helps a lot as well for me. And then I would say writing things down, because I think at this point of being able to know who you are, you need to write down the things that are not you, the things that you normally don't do, those type of things, write those things down, because I feel like that's where you're able to like do a reality check. Like, that's not me, or that's false, that's not true, things like that, so you can really like, you have evidence that that's not you. So just writing it down so you can see it with your own eyes, like, that's not me. And then I would say, as well as just doing the opposite. I feel like it's doing the opposite of what you want to do. So isolating yourself, go and connect with people, because I feel like that's what helps me actually. Like, I might be like, man, but at the same time, it's like, going out to connect yourself with other people I feel like it helps a lot. I don't know why. I just really feel like it does, because you just, with the people you put yourself around, I feel like will bring you another level of joy. And so I think that's important for me as well. So pretty much doing the opposite of what my body, not even my body wants. It's like doing the opposite of what I feel like that state of depression wants. Like, and these are things that you can also find online. Like, what is signs of depression? And you probably will see something that's probably resonating with something you're probably doing in that moment or that state. And so I would say connecting with people, moving my body, eating clean, and what else helps me? Really, I think the biggest thing is being spiritually grounded. I think that's very important for me, just because it gives some level of hope, faith, that whatever it is going through is going to pass. Like, seriously, like, not everyone may believe in God, but you can believe in the universe. Believe in something, I feel like, because it's just a way to, like, offset the stress of, like, the worries, the anxiety that you carry. Like, you just being it, whatever you can't control, you just letting it go. Whatever you can control, do your part. But, in terms of, like, things you can't control, if you went through financial burdens or whatever the case is, then, just be like, I just pray. And I think that that's what helps me a lot. And so just staying spiritually grounded is important for me. And then I also said, have you ever seeked medical assistance? I actually want to do therapy. Like, I would suggest anyone do therapy. It's an excuse right now, but I'm hoping by the time we start season 2, I'll be like, I did therapy and this was I've learned. I want to do it really to learn a lot. I'm very big on, like, just learning about myself, and that's why I'm talking about this, just because these are things that I've reflected on, and I want to hear other people's experiences, and I want us to be able to talk about these things and share kind of what we go through. But even just tools that you may use that I may not have said, there's so many different things. And even going back to that other thing, that's, I guess, the spiritual groundedness is like, it's rooted in being grateful. I think that that's one of the biggest things that I know, as well as bring you out of that state, just looking at what's around you and being present to be able to be thankful. So being present as well. But yeah, I was just saying, like, I feel like I want to have a therapist, and I'm going to make that a thing to try to get one, just so I can learn more about myself and have more tools, and, just see what that experience is like. And then I asked also as well, how does depression make you feel? I feel like depression makes me feel disconnected. I feel it makes me feel empty. I feel tired sometimes. I just feel like it's not, me. I feel like I'm full of life, full of joy, and it's the opposite. So, feeling sad for overly too long, I'm like, yo, that's not right. Or, being angry for overly too long. Like, I think that when any emotion I'm carrying that's like those for too long, it's just like, that's what I feel. That's what I feel. I feel like the, anger or sadness or not the numbness or emptiness. So those are just some of the things that I feel, And I also asked, how do you interact with your environment when in depression? So going back to my girlfriend, I've already apologized. I'll apologize again, but it's something that's in the past, like last summer, and that's why I'm talking about this now. Because I feel like everyone believes that depression is just seasonal. I'm like, nah, it can be at any time. Anything can happen in the world or in your life that can be shaking up even during the summer. People lose people or whatever the case is. But I definitely don't believe, people should be just treated however, especially when it shouldn't be treated like that. And that was the thing with my girl. Like, I realized, because I was the only person in my environment that I had to actually interact with, I feel that things like working, whatever, you can like kind of like get through it and be okay with not stepping on anyone's toes or, but, when you're around someone a lot, I feel like for me, I just want to isolate and not talk to someone. So it's like me just being like, yo, just dry, or like just like I'm not trying to talk, or but in reality it's like, I should do the opposite. And so that's kind of how I feel I interact with mine. It's like I wouldn't say like I call people out their names or do anything like that. No, I just feel like seeing somebody sometimes, like I think that's something I'm really known like I know myself for doing, is seeing people. And just imagine like you being in the same space and they don't feel like someone sees you or recognizes you, and they don't even want to talk to you. Like, how does that feel? And so that's how I feel like I am. I just try to like, I try to get into this lonely state, like I ain't even trying to talk, or like, but yeah. So that's some of the things that I feel like, I shared and asked the questions with other people about on the streets. And I just wanted to talk about that because it's mental health month, but it's mental health year every day. I really think that it's just important to talk about like things, tough topics and things that people don't want to talk about. I will always talk about that. I always think it's important to talk about it. So that was the whole purpose of this, was just to like, if you feel that you're going through something like this, you're not alone. You have people you can count on. Go seek the actual assistance that you may need. By any means, I'm not any doctor or psychologist or anything. I'm just going through the motions just like you, but I'm just sharing it so that hopefully, it may be something that resonates with you. You may not be able to have access to that. I feel like, but I'm going to try to put that at the bottom though as well, because I've actually found that there's access to these resources as well. I don't know how long it takes to be able to sit in front of a therapist or anything, but I feel like, I can at least try to like put some stuff down. But I do want to hear your stories. If you are comfortable sharing it underneath the post, share it. Or if you want to just email us or, DM us, whatever. I want to hear about it. Again, you can join the Peer Potential community on Discord, as well as the Facebook page that's coming. And, I'm just praying for everyone. Since I won't see y'all through season 2. For my people in Chicago, please be safe out here. It's really wild. And, I'm just praying that everyone has a fun and good summer. And I hope you learn more about yourself. And I hope that you come ready to digest some more episodes next season. And until then, keep digesting the other episodes if you haven't watched them. I'm extremely, extremely grateful to share this moment with you all, as well as just conclude this season with you all. So until next time, we're back. I'm gonna let y'all know on social media. I'm not gonna say something here that is not right. So until we're back again, I love y'all. Be safe. Again, take care of yourself, and just let us know if you need anything. All right. Peace.
Live. I feel like a live. Live.